Hi folks, we're going to go over portraiture today in kind of a quick sketchy way. So just kind of loose, just seeing where features go and how everything fits together within the face. People often have problems with proportion or the size relationships. When people first start drawing portraits, they tend to draw the eyes way too big, the nose too long, and the mouth too small. Not always, but generally those are pretty common mistakes that people make. So I'm using this grid as just kind of a guideline to show where features go. So if you were drawing your own, you could start out with just kind of a loose ovalish shape and dividing it in the middle from top to bottom, and that's the eye level. So this yellow line is the eye level. The green line here, can you just draw, dividing it in half, that is the central axis. Now if you tip your head, know that the central axis and the eye level line, those tip with it. So they, from here to there, that changes. Okay. So notice from the very top here to the very bottom, if that's the very top of the head and this is the very bottom of the chin, the eyes are in the center of that space. Now this has also been divided into 5. So that's because the eye, if you use the eye as a unit of measure, basically the eye makes up five widths of the eye for the face. So the face is 5 eyes wide. And the yellow line goes through about the center of the eye. So just very loosely, just kind of blocking in some eyes. So we've got about an eye width here, the actual eye, another space of an eye, actual eye, and then the space next to it. So again, the face is generally the equivalent of 5 eyes wide. That helps with that proportion. So if you've got just a little bit of space there and then huge eyes, they are probably disproportionate. Also, the eye is also helpful to know where to place other features. So if you notice this little red arrowed one, that means from the center of the eye down is generally how wide the mouth is. Everybody is different, but that's a pretty general placement there. From the inside corner of the eye down helps you guide where the outside of the nose is, so outside of the nostril. Sometimes it's straight down. Most of the time it's a little bit wider or quite a bit wider, but that helps you guide and see how that relates. Now this line, okay, so if you draw, going back to my drawing there, so I've got my oval, divided it for the eye level, and then I'm going to divide it that section in half and that section in half. So I actually have my face divided in fourths. So again, the eyes, and then this line, the nose is ends a little bit above that, and the mouth starts a little below that, generally speaking. Okay, so I'm going to go back up to my one here. Again, the nose is going to end generally a little bit above that and come out probably just a little bit wider than those blue marks. And if you think of the nose as having like a ball at the end, that kind of helps you get the form. I'm going to add the eyebrows above the eye. And a lot of times people will draw a line and they'll bring that line up to the inside corner of the eye. It really is more accurately going to kind of visually connect with the eyebrow instead. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of shading there, just a little bit of loose shading. A little bit of shading at the underside of the nose and just a little bit at the nostril. People have a tendency to draw a big circle there. It's really just kind of it's darker at the top, kind of fades out a little bit. Kind of depends on the lighting. Okay, so again, in this particular case, we're going just a little bit to the outside of the line coming straight down from the eye. And then straight down below there, we've got the mouth. And I like to start with the center line between the lips first. And then kind of, again, lines up kind of with the center of the eye. I'm going to come back up. And everybody's slightly different. You may have, the ends may end up higher on your mouth, maybe a straighter line, may curve up, may curve down. It's hard to say. And then the philtrum, the little dent above your mouth, fills that space there. Again, sometimes people it's a little up, a little higher, a little lower, a little wider, a little narrower. When you're drawing your eyes, unless you are looking panicked and you can see the whites of the eyes all the way around, the pupil and the iris usually rests kind of just looking straight ahead, just casually. The bottom of the iris is going to rest on the lower lid. Make sure that the pupil is in the center of the actual iris, not just the part that you can see, because the iris really comes up above that lid. And you may have a double lid, you may not. Again, everybody's a little bit different. Add a little bit of shading in, start giving it a little bit of form inside that eye socket, maybe a little bit underneath the eye. On the mouth, the upper lip tends to be darker because it casts a shadow onto itself, so it's got that attached shadow. And the lower lip will have a little bit of value, it just probably won't be quite as dark as the upper. And right where they come together tends to be the darkest. And then a little bit of shadow underneath there, because that lower lip usually casts a shadow down onto the chin. And then I'm going to come back, I'm going to refine the face just a little bit. And then my ears, I don't have a guideline on there for that, but the ears, usually about from the eyebrow over and the bottom of the nose over. So somewhere within that. And you don't see the entire ear from the frontal. Some people you'll see more than others. So you need to kind of compare. I got it a little bit low to start. But again, you need to compare with whoever you're drawing, whether it's you or someone else, and figure out where do those things actually line up. And then, if not a little skinny neck, generally a little bit down from the ear. It may be a little narrower, it may be a little bit wider. And the column of the neck and the shoulders come out. There may be a little bit of a tendon in here, collarbone. And then we come back to the hair. The hairline is usually round in here, and the hair extends beyond that oval. Okay, that's if you think of that oval as being the skull, the hair grows out from there and takes up more space. But we're not starting the hairline here. The hairline is more like around in there. Think about how you want that hair to fit within that. Does it come down below at all? And I didn't refine this. Really look at the outside shape of the chin. Is it really kind of square? Is it more oval? Does it dip in here? That's where you need to start doing more individualized study to see where all those things come together. Okay? So some key things, and 5 eyes wide. The eye line is in the center of the head. So again, if we're starting out with that oval, in the center of the head, that's where you're going to have the eye line. And then the central axis down through the center, 5 eyes wide. You can divide that again. And that helps you to start placing all those features. Okay? Don't forget, when you're drawing an eye, you rarely, unless somebody's really startled, you don't see the entire eye and see the white around it. Also, when you're drawing an eye, the lashes, you won't see every lash. They change as they come closer to the center, tend to be more upright, and then they change direction because they're spreading out. Then you've got the tear duct, iris, pupil, and the eyelashes and the upper lid will cast a shadow down onto the eye. On the nose, you have to really notice how much of the nostril you really see. If you think of that as having a kind of a ball at the end of those, that got a little bit large, and the nostrils coming to the side there, and then coming down into the philtrum. Think about where it's going to turn under, where it's going to get more shadow. And then on the lip, again, I like to draw the line first and then come back and sketch with more detail from there. Now I also, on the zoom, I also talked about ball and bucket. You can also, and this is the way I like to start, you start out with kind of a circle, that ball, and put that ball in a bucket. That still can work very well. A lot of times that is right about where the bottom of the nose is. Still 5 eyes wide. Face. If you want to do profile, offset the bucket. See how that starts to look more like the skull there? Think about where that goes, how that all relates, how that comes down into the neck. But I think that's about it for today. Oh, one last thing. If you're looking at the side of someone, remember that's a profile. If you're looking straight at someone, that's frontal. And if they're slightly turned, that is 3/4. And here's my example for 3/4. Okay, thank you. Oops, thank you very much. Have a great day.